what is happening, but what's going forward. Where are you going this week and next week? So
that's right.
You know, but again, Dr. Dick, he's got to be number one.
He does. I could see him falling out of that number one slot, but he's proven it week in and week out. He's got the magic and he's got the talent.
He's only lost 2 games.
He's in the playoffs. He's won his division.
In one of the most competitive years of Fantasy League Fantastico, Dr. Dick has only lost 2 games, and he has far outscored. His points for are much higher than the second place team. So I think you could easily go Dr. Dick as number one, and then I mean there's a lot of gray area. You don't know who's going to be coming out and winning in the playoffs.
Well, I guess that's why we'll go to the whiteboard and take care of playoffs.
That's called the transition, folks. All right, we'll see you in a little bit.
Thanks, folks.
All right, everybody, Chalk Talk time, and the let me try that one more time.
All right, let's try that again.
All right, everybody, Chalk Talk time, and the subject today, students, is playoff scenarios. Who's got a chance? Who doesn't? As we said before, everybody's got a chance, but things are getting a little confusing for yours truly.
It's real tight. We'll go through this list here and show you who's in and who is in the periphery. Everybody's still involved in this battle. Let's take a look at the board here.
Well, but what we're going to do here is we're going to mark a full asterisk by the teams that have already got an invitation to the dance, that being the Dr. Dick,
yep,
Mason Keith Colby
at 7-4.
And the Rollers
at 7-4. Though not officially in the system, the Rollers are in at 7-4.
But some of these teams, let's just get to it. Mason Keith and the Rollers, they clinched, but they're kind of on a down.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, they could be teams on the decline, other teams below coming up. We'll see how that plays out.
We certainly will. Peaceful Warriors at 1463. They could technically lose 2 in a row and be tied down at the bottom, but their overall point total, bud.
Yeah, I think you gotta, the most important column here, besides the win and loss, is that point total. The Peaceful Warriors have accumulated enough points in this late season run. They've gotten themselves in the upper echelon. Even if they drop 2 in a row, they'll be in that 7-8 slot of the playoffs.
We shall see. We're just gonna give them, though, not the full asterisk. We're gonna leave out a part. He's got to complete the
80%
last part.
asterisk.
Yeah, 80. Good one, bud. Hey, what happened to your medallion, bud?
I put that aside. I thought it was maybe distracting all the viewers of what was important here.
It must have been a little heavy around your neck.
Impressive story, but it's not everything in the league. Number 5, the Goods. This is where I think we can almost draw a little wavy line and say this here could change on a dime.
So the Goods at 6-5, they have 1,412 points. But
yeah,
what needs to happen for the Goods to lock it up?
Well, the Goods, if they win one more game, they're automatically in. If they were to lose 2, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to come back down to where we see the most pivotal team in all of this playoff chase, the Morning Wood. I think both those teams at the same point total. The Wood win and the Goods lose. It's coming down to week 13 between those teams. And if something else happens down low here, the Goods, it'd be a real slim scenario for it to happen. They might be out.
And the Goods locked into a battle with the Rollers. We're going to get to the matchups later, but so we're going to give the Goods. We're going to give them, we're not going to give them the full, we're just going to give them a 70% asterisk.
Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. I'm scared. Here is a team that I have been predicting the downfall. They scrape out a win last week, and look at them now, a 12.95 the Mofos.
Wow, the second lowest scoring team in the league. We've talked about.
Can you say that one more time?
The second lowest, next to the Lunches for crowd.
Wow.
Mofos are a very vulnerable team here. Again, 7 wins and you're automatically in. They win this week, they're in, or next week, they're in. They really hold their own destiny, which is where you want to be come playoff time.
Playoffs?
But this team,
Playoffs?
I think if they lose this week, they're nervous. Because all of a sudden that gives this redonkulous team a whole lot of something to believe in. Thank you, Poison.
And what team would the Mofos be playing this week but none other than our leading candidate for the championship, Dr. Dick.
Funny how that happens when we want to find out what a team's made of.
So what do we want to give them? We're going to give them 1
Give them a couple.
and a 2.
Yeah. Let's give them an X.
Maybe
Marks
why don't we
the
just
spot.
give them a little nudge there, just to say, if they are able to scrape out a win against Dr. Dick, oh my lord, the Mofos, they should be very happy about that. The King, 5-6.
3 in a row for the King,
3 in a
hottest
row.
team in the FLF.
Why don't we
Here
talk
they
about some of
come.
those numbers? They won. What's the nature of the season for the King? How did they turn it around, or what?
Well,
It's 3 in a row.
decimated by that Jamal Charles injury. They drafted Mile Austin very high, I think 3rd round on that team. And he has not performed, and he's been injured, and he's injured again.
He
That
hasn't performed at
King
all.
team has been doing its homework, though, and it's taken some names that you wouldn't really think were going to produce. This Nate Washington has been something.
Nate
really
Washington,
remarkable.
yeah.
The Michael Bush that he had stashed away there a week prior to injury.
Wow.
All of a sudden, I think he had to play it in a bye week, and then Michael Bush now stepping up to the forefront.
Fresh
with
knowledge
McFadden being
from the
injured.
King. That's amazing.
So the King, poised to make the playoffs here.
What happened? What needs to happen for the King?
Well, I think they got a low point total here, so the King needs to win 1 more and they're in. But if they don't do that, if they drop 2, and that it gets into that 5-8 scenario we'll see down here. Again, here's our little buddy down here with all these points shooting up to the 8 spot.
Interesting, very
So
interesting.
the King needs to win.
And let it be said that the King are in a very tough matchup with Redonkulous.
That's right.
Yours truly.
Again, an elimination game for Redonkulous, a playoff win for the King.
Amazing that this part of the season, we're 1 game away or 2 games away from the completion. Here's Redonkulous, 3-8, still making people sweat. Amazing.
Yeah. I think, we have these games of the week here, but that is quietly a game of the week in the West. I think Redonkulous, if they pull that one out, this whole thing is just really interesting.
Yes, very much so. Too
Look
many
out,
scenarios
Blair
to
Witch.
trap. Alrighty, the King at 5-6.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah,
What
so-
do we want to give them?
Yeah,
We're
I
gonna
think we
them
give him a /1.5 or
a
something.
slash. What do we do?
Yeah.
Just 2
Yeah,
slashes.
Yeah, we give him 2 slashes. You're welcome, the King. Some say the hottest team in the FLF.
Some do. I've spoken
An
with the man.
0-5 squads won 5 out of 6.
Yes, I should mention to you folks that these rankings are based on the current Yahoo standings.
Correct.
So there's no people trying to. There's no crony capitalism going on here. This is just how it is. Boone Helper, 1337, 5-6, 1337 overall points, 5-6 record, 5 of the last 6. Still a lot of work to do, bud.
Yeah, I mean, that early season point total is really haunting them all year. It's basically put them in a win every week scenario. I think if this team wins another game, they're still not guaranteed a playoff
It's
spot,
amazing.
depending on what else has happened. So again, the motto, the credo of this team has been, hey, we're 0-5, let's just win every game we play. And they've basically done that. They win 2 more, they're in. They win 1, we're rolling the dice.
I have spoken to the manager of the Boone Humper, everybody, and while he's ecstatic, he's just tired. He's like, can I get into the playoffs already? Can I get that invitation to the big dance?
It's been a courageous battle.
So what are we giving this guy? 2Xer, he's in a tight battle with the Fire Spitting Jimmies.
Yeah, no, I think the Fire Spinning Jimmies have owned them in the past, and that game is far from
I don't think
over.
own is
I
the
think
word I would
a
use.
/1.5 is plenty.
A /1.5 it is. Right there and right there. So you're saying that the King and the Mofos have a far better chance of making the playoffs than the
Well,
Golden
again,
Hour.
I think if the Morning Wood were to lose and the King were to win, everything has changed.